Today on the podcast, we have Rory Ellis of Rorman Strength and Britton Cameron of Vendetta Strength and Athletics. Guys, thanks for hopping on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us. Happy to be here.
You got it. Rory, your first time, Britton, second time. But honestly, Britton, I don't really remember much. It was a few years ago. It's been a while. Can each of you guys just start us off by giving a little background on yourself and then maybe kind of like easing your way into how you started producing gym equipment?
Well, you go first, Britton.
Oh, you go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the podcast like 3 years ago and pretty much gave my story then. So if anybody wants to go back to it, then they can listen to probably a longer version than I'll give now. But yeah, I mean, started out as a design engineer, bought my first house, always wanted my first house to have a home gym in it. So while house hunting, I specifically had to either have a nice garage or a nice basement. And as you can see, I wound up as a basement dweller by the floor joist up above me. So not bad though. I got a split unit over there, so I'm air conditioned. That's a plus. But yeah, I mean, so once bought the house, then started building up the home gym, and then started more and more equipment, and then started tinkering with equipment and realized that I wanted some more functionality out of it. And then that's what led me to the adapters, that 180-degree adapter for originally that Titan arm. So, and since then, just kept branching out from there. And then I don't know, my brain's like a rabbit. I work on too many projects and I've got too many different ideas. So trying to get all of those finished and pushed out has been the biggest hurdle, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, so I guess I'm up. So I actually work at podcast. I'll transition into that later, but I've been a home gym owner for not very long. Basically after COVID hit, shut the gym down. I was always a 7-day-a-week gym goer, just I like to work out, and really started back in the Army. I joined the Army in 2010. Really got the bug to work out when I was overseas in Afghanistan in 2013, and haven't really stopped there since. So once I finally bought my first house here in Tennessee, in the Nashville area, just south of Nashville, I realized quickly after COVID happened that like I had some gym equipment at home because I was working at a buddy's house. He had just a Titan squat rack, some cap barbells, and plates and stuff like that. But that was like the place to go. And I'm like, I have to have it because I enjoyed those workouts way more than any commercial gym workout I've been. So after that experience, I started buying some equipment. My first thing was just the side of the road. I was driving to a gig. I also play music down in Nashville, and I was driving to a gig and I saw this weeder bench with a crappy barbell and some rusty plates, and he was bringing it out and it's like for sale. I'm like, hey man, what do you want for it? He's like $100. I'm like, done. It was like 300 or 400 pounds of plates. I was like, done. Here's $50. That's what I had in my wallet at the time. I said, I'll come get the rest. I got to play a gig on Broadway. I'll come back and pick the rest up. He was literally right down the street. So that happened. And that really just started the fire and the whole gym equipment thing. So after that, it just progressed. I finally got a PR5000. Started tinkering on that as well. Realized that I had a lat pull down low row. Realized the low row was way too low to do like any kind of low rows. So I like tinkered with that. And sure enough, came across this podcast. Saw Britton talking about how he was an engineer, and if you have any ideas to reach out to him, I reached out to him. Actually, about a little over a year ago, I got like the time application where we were talking, and reached out to him. He said, "Hey, you got a good idea here." I had prototyped the Megalith handles, and I think he's like, "I think you got something here." He tinkered with it a bunch, made it into a much better design since he is an engineer by trade, and now I'm here. So that's kind of the long version, but it's also kind of short.
Whoa, didn't know that about the podcast. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, because he said he's in Chattanooga, and I was like, it's an hour and a half south, so I'll hit him up. And he was gracious with his time, he still has been. His wife as well. I'll shout out your wife, because I take up a lot of Britton's family time with texting and prototyping.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's spot on. But one thing that I find really interesting about that, just his home gym journey. Because I mean, for me, I started out with like 100% Facebook Marketplace finds, like 2 Rogue half squat racks that were wall mounted. Actually, no, before that, I started out with a hammer strength, just bench, like the commercial grade hammer strength bench. That's all it does, just a flat bench with like the blue pad and a white frame. And that's all I had down here. And then just some like hand-me-down weights that I got off the Marketplace too. And then from that, I went to some Rogue half rack, and then just recently got rid of those and upgraded to a rep Rory. So I've had that progression too, and just meeting sketchy people in sketchy places, buying some iron weights for cheap. So been there, done that. But yeah, I mean, he's spot on. He reached out to me and showed me the initial concept and the initial idea that he had put together, and I was like, hey, you got something here. So we took it from there and made some refinements, and with what you got now. So I think it's a heck of a product, and it's really great.
Cool. So Rory, I mean, since we've already talked about Britain's story, really, a year and a half ago, you said you reached out. Can you maybe give a quick timeline of how reaching out, and then how long did each step take, and what were the steps?
So it's kind of been a blur since it's happened so fast, because I feel like I got a lot of traction with Coop doing some reviews and stuff like that, and giving his kind words about the product. So it all happened so fast. Finally, actually, just today, got caught up with almost every single one. I have like 5 orders to fulfill. So that number was like 100, and it's just dwindled over the past couple of weeks. So I'm just now getting caught up. But I think I probably had the idea. I was in my last house. I'm in my third house now. And my last house had a 3-car garage. My wife was nice enough to give me the 1-car portion of the 3-car garage. So I built that out. And I really wanted to do lateral races, because at a commercial gym, my favorite piece of equipment was just a lateral race machine. Rather than doing dumbbells, you don't really get any tension at the bottom. And I was like, there's got to be a way. I had the lever arms, which were terrible before I got the Vendetta adapters. Got the Vendetta adapters, and they were actually functional. And I was like, these handles are terrible. Every handle option has, it's a standard U shape with the 45 degree handle. I just didn't like that. So he came across Dylan Johnson on Instagram. I'm sure everyone knows him. And he's like the lever arm guru. And he had the idea just use the metal handle, straight handle with just a stainless steel weight peg from CFT. I'm not sure if CFT makes those anymore. Unfortunately, the owner passed away. But so that's the setup I used for a long time. But I wanted to do lateral raises, and I was like, there's no way to do it with a straight handle. It doesn't articulate. So I was doing it, and you get about here, and then you just like lean your body out, like do a lateral raise. So just silly. But I looked at it. I feel I've always had an engineering mind, but I never went to school for it. So I was looking at the lever. I'm like, it's simple. It has to be simple. So I looked at the machines in the commercial gyms, and I noticed it was just articulated. That's all it was. Because all it is a straight lever arm that just with an articulating handle. So I just had this like epiphany moment. I was at work, and I was like, this would work. So I just got all these pieces on Amazon, bought a welder from Harbor Freight, like $80 on sale. It's still what I use. It's terrible, but it works for prototypes. And piece it all together, and just happened to work perfectly. I was like, this is it. Like, I was thinking about making it out of wood. I do some woodwork on the side as well. But this was like the first piece of metal thing I made, and that was probably about a year and a half or 2 years ago at this point, where I actually finally made the product. And then I saw it was probably after you guys had recorded it, a few months after, but I saw that podcast with Britton on it, and I reached out because that's about the time I ordered the Vendetta adapters. Because I was like, these things are awesome. They're going to change the lever arm game, and they really did. And I use my lever arms all the time now because of them. And now that I have megalith handles, I use them all the time now too. So basically, about a year ago today was when I had the final version of what you see now. There's a few little tweaks here and there, like just hole sizes and different materials for bearings and stuff. But the general like schematic and the whole setup is almost identical to what it was exactly a year ago. And I launched like a couple weeks before Christmas last year. And I just had 10 handles that I'd like. If I could sell 10 handles, that's kind of proof of concept. They were all stainless steel. They were just from like a print on demand service called Pen Cut Set. They made it out and had those put out. And to my surprise, I had like 6 orders before Christmas. I was like, that's insane. To me, that was insane. I took money out of my savings account. My wife was not happy with me for taking money out of our savings account. And it's not that she's not supportive because she's a skeptic, especially when it comes to me spending money.
Y'all had a baby on the way or a baby here?
We had a baby, like less than 1 year old. So we just moved into the new house. I recently rejoined the army. There's a lot going on. And so she was right to be skeptical. But to my surprise, I sold like 6 or 7 before Christmas, which I was like, that to me was insane. Because like people are saving money for Christmas for kids, family. And then I sold the other 2 or 3 pairs maybe a little bit after the week or and I was like, this is actually legit. So I proved to my wife I made my money back with a little bit of profit. And she's like, okay, I trust you. You could do something. And then talked to Britton and got some more advice how to scale a little bigger because, send cut send was not going to work. And buying little pieces from hardware stores here and there was not going to work. So slowly started figuring out how to buy in bulk and how much I need to do so I don't have to sit on a bunch of inventory. And that's still a learning process that I'm in right now. But it's gotten to a point where I'm getting things pretty routine, pretty ironed out at this point.
So what type of advice was Britton giving you?
So for one, I had no clue. Uncut Send was a new thing for me. And really where Britton came in to save the day was like, I had no clue how to turn my into something that I could give to a manufacturer. Because manufacturers don't care about my drawing on a piece of paper, even if it's really good. I took all the time in the world with it. If it's not a CAD drawing and the files that they need, they're like, okay, bro, that's cool. Like, you're kind of good at drawing. I know what you mean. And my whole thought process was like, it's just so easy. You just gotta weld bend a piece of metal and screw a handle on. They're like, I'm not touching it without a CAD drawing. I'm like, I don't even know what a CAD drawing is. So I downloaded some free CAD software. I think I called Britton that day. I had made an upright, and it took me like 3.5 hours just to make like a small section of upright, and it was not scale or anything. And that was just to start the process of making the negative handle off of that. And I was like, I can't do this, dude. So he was great. Never asked for time, never asked for anything. He's just been awesome with it. But yeah, that's where he really kind of got the ball rolling. He got me in touch with his manufacturing chat who did the drawings for me, and then from there it was really pretty simple because the negative handles as a whole, it's not equipment. It's just a matter of getting the manufacturing, getting the drawing done correctly to get it to a manufacturer that can make them in higher quantities than 10.
Yeah. Rory, when did you initially reach out and show me the first prototype? I feel like it was maybe 9 months to a year of us just working together, getting it refined even before you sold the first pen. I mean, it was quite a while.
It was, yeah. I didn't talk. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it was about a year because, again, a year ago today was when I had the first prototype, or actually not prototypes, the actual first like scalable things where I sold the 10 pairs. So that was about a year ago today. And I actually ended up selling them in December. So yeah, it was probably the December before, or maybe January, early of 2022.
Yeah, it was like
early 22.
Yeah, I think it was wintertime 2022. And yeah, I mean, it was just it was a handle that was the pivoting handle as you see it now, using a similar bearing and then of a similar handle too. But again, like it was just taking it from that crude prototype all the way to the like 3D models and then the files. And I mean, we did quite a few prototypes and revisions along the way, figuring out the kinks and everything, and to make it scalable and manufacturable on top of that. But yeah, he was getting some local quotes, and I was like, no, that you're getting snowballed like bad. And I was like, I'll hook you up with my laser cutting, powder coating down here. Then so through that course, I'd get them laser cut and powder coated for them. And then Rory would drive down from Nashville, Murfreesboro, which is an hour and a half north, like you said. And then we'd make a family day out of it, go to the aquarium or something. The initial deal that I made him with Rory was like, man, what do I owe you for this? And I said, you don't owe me anything, man. I was like, I just love doing this. And if you ever come in town, just buy me a beer. And he made up on that offer. So
awesome. Roy, when did you decide to go with the try and get a patent, and how did that end up, or where is that at?
Yeah, so actually, had the provisional patent that was refiled, and so I got it pretty soon after I had the drawings because I needed. That was one of the ballpark. So I'm actually in the design patent process now. Like it's being filed. It's been filed. It's officially filed a couple weeks ago, and I use the same guy that Brayton uses, and Arsenal Strength uses as well. So Arsenal Strength, everyone knows those guys they're really good at commercial. It's the same law firm that use, and so that's who I got my patent through. But the provisional patent was probably shortly after I got drawings, just because the provisional there's like $70 to file. You can do it yourself. And I just wanted some kind of protection because I didn't shop this out to anyone. I didn't go to Rapper Rogue or anything. Once I realized I could sell it myself, I kind of just wanted to try it, see how it worked. And it's been going really well. I haven't thought out anyone to buy it or license it. I haven't thought that out, nor do I necessarily want it. I'm always open for, deals if anyone wants to talk about them, but it's not necessarily something I'm seeking. So with the protection from the provisional patent, I felt a little more comfortable. Obviously, talking to Brayton, we developed a good friendship, and I trust him. And there's some people that I know I could trust, and that's a weird business. They're a weird area to go down with the who you could trust and whatever. I feel good about it. With the patent, it just gave me a little more clarity. So it's pretty early on in the process. Probably once I got the actual drawings of what the final version looked like, is when I probably filed the design patent or the provisional patent.
So just for a little tidbit of info on that, even emailing, because people are always like, oh, why don't you get a patent? And the number one thing is like, it costs a lot of money. So just a little tidbit of info, even exchanging 2 or 3 emails with my lawyer, same one that Rory uses, is like $300 or $500 for the bill. And and that's just a couple emails. A phone call is going to cost you about $1,200.
Yeah.
And that's just discussing the status of the patent or any hiccups that they encounter and how they're going to work through. That's not even yeah. You're looking at, and when people say 10,000, that's low. That's you're looking at 10 to 20 for a full utility. So that's hard. It's a lot of money to fork over. But
are you, Rory? Are you going through a full utility patent, or what exactly are you going?
Right now, the one that's filed right now is a design patent. So design patents are they're typically cheaper. It's obviously doesn't cover as much as a full utility patent. But from the research I've done and from talking to the guys from the law firm that we use, if you don't have unfortunately don't have the money to defend your patent, it doesn't matter. So you could have a $30,000 patent, and if, let's say, Rogue, don't do it, but if you want to take my product and rip it off completely, take me to court, my family doesn't have that kind of money savings account. I don't have that money in Rorman Strength savings account. Rorman Strength does not pay the bills whatsoever. I'm a full-time active duty Army, so that's what pays my bills. 25. You can look up my rank and what I make on the internet. It's not anything impressive. So if anyone wanted to come after me for it, I couldn't defend it in court. So the design patent is a better option than the full utility. Is the way it is.
Yeah, and I mean I'm a full-time engineer, so I'm not making the big bucks over here either.
Got it. Well, Britton, where are you at with your business?
So I mean, the last year 1, year 2, they were pretty good. I mean, the main reason that I started was the 180-degree trolley, and then I branched out into the bolt-on adapters for some other brands. And then from there, that's been pretty sustainable for the past coming up on 3 years now. And when I say sustainable, I mean just me doing it, and then my wife helping out every now and then. And along that 3-year journey, we've had 2 kids. So we've got a 2-year-old boy and then a 7-month-old boy now as well. So working through all that. But so right now in year 3, been pretty steady. Again, it doesn't bring in big bucks, but it does do enough to where I've been able to replace my wife's salary so that she's a stay-at-home mom, which is my number one goal. So, and she was in EA, she wasn't making big money either. But still, it's nice to be able to afford that for my kids, which is my main thing, to do that. But where I'm at right now is, we were talking before this call, our 7-month-old is still waking up through the night and wanting to eat and everything. So it's been pretty stressful here the past few months. So personally, after the Gate dilemma, and going up to Fargo with DJ. Came back, and then at work, our power plant trip, and we've been offline since then. So I rolled into a 6 days, 12 hours a day schedule. Then once I got out of that, then the baby issue. So personally, I've been taking just my foot off the gas, a little bit, and focusing more on family, and hanging out with the kids, because kind of reflecting and seeing my 7-month-old, like hit the milestones and crawl and all of that stuff and grow up. I realized how like head on and buried into the business I was for the first 2 years with our 2-year-old, and how many of those milestones I kind of missed out on. So that's where I'm at right now, just kind of enjoying that and getting through this, stage, because it'll never happen again in my life, and I really want to enjoy that. And I mean, personally, I basically grew up without a dad, so I don't want that for my kids. So I'm enjoying every moment of it. But during that process of taking my foot off the gas, I spend the late night for it, and then also finish the design for it, and then I'm lining up the manufacturing for them now. So once I decide to put my foot back on the gas, then it'll be some cool stuff. But
You keeping those close to your chest?
yeah, yeah, I'll keep those close to my chest. I mean, I've been teasing one of them as I've been sitting here. But and then the other one is pretty cool. There's nothing like it. It's a 3-in-1 attachment. Rory knows about it. It's pretty cool. But got some other ones too. But yeah.
Awesome.
It's funny how similar Brendan and I were when we got talking, because like I grew up with a father, talked about that, talked about God, all that stuff, and then we both have kids around the same age, but and basically our main goals are exactly the same. Like I want to be able to, if Rorman's strength could supplement my wife's income and let her be a stay-at-home mom for our two girls, that's all I want out of life. That'd be amazing. She's a teacher, so it's not that hard to do. It doesn't make a whole lot, but that's the whole goal with that. So, but I'd send Britton ideas, and he'd be like, he'd text it back, like, oh, like this, and he'd send me like this perfect like prototype version. This dude has so many things in his gym, so many ideas. So when he was talking about rabbit mind earlier, it's true. He's like, I'd come up with some I thought was super innovative, never seen it. He's like, oh, I got that. Shows me a whole prototype. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Well, I mean, like, we're also, I mean, who said it? Manager Parks and Jim, I think, on the podcast that was released just yesterday, day before yesterday. He was like, he basically said we're all home gym nerds, and it's true, we are. Like, we're nerds is a good way to put it, because no one else is so hyper focused on this hobby that we have, essentially. And because so many of us are hyper focused on it, and it's a passion of ours and we enjoy it, a lot of us come up with the same problems, and then we come up with a relatively same solution for those problems. So it's not uncommon to do it, and we've seen it before. I mean, so like, just,
Yeah.
there's ideas that I've seen shared on the Facebook page, and it's like my idea too, but not going to pursue it now. So it is what it is. We're all, I mean, it's a hive mind, but we're all focused on the singular thing. So
to that point, I went to Home Gym Con last year just as a competitor in the throwdown that Kurt put on, and I went there, and Coach Clark he's 15 minutes down the road, so I have some stuff with him all the time. Good guy. And I went there, I was hanging out with him and his wife the whole time, and his wife was like, we go to events all the time. He doesn't talk. He doesn't talk at all. Go to gatherings for work, whatever. He doesn't talk. He's like, I can't get him to shut up. He won't stop talking. I'd be talking to his wife, and Carp would just walk off and like talk to someone else. I'd be like, where'd Carp go? I don't know, we're there. So back to your nerd part, yeah, like we're all just nerds, and it's funny how cool this the community is, and that's what was really cool about Home Gym Con. That's why I'm proud to bring in Britton on this as both of our first times at Home Gym Con this coming year, because I didn't go as a vendor, but Jake was kind enough last year to make me a honorary member, a vendor out of the back of my card. So thanks again for that. Appreciate that.
Doing parking lot deals. Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to go every year, but the way that my work lines up is we have a nuclear shutdown for our plant. We go in and we do maintenance for 30 to 45 days, 24 hours a day. and we do that during the spring and the fall, and every home gym con has landed like smack dab, like right there during that time. So I can't get out of that. So working those 12-hour shifts, but yeah, happy that it lined up this year to where I'll finally be able to go.
Yeah. I'm pumped to have you guys. But Rory, back to like Britain having a ton of ideas. I've never met anybody quite with the immediate skill to just like immediately say how he would do it and this and that. And Britain, you truly do have a skill
Yeah,
that
it's crazy.
you are humbly not mentioning.
Yeah.
Yes, you really do. I've never heard anybody ramble anything quite like you have.
And the
No,
thing
so
is like, Rory just said it, like Coach Carp not talking much, but my wife would tell you the same thing. Like, I don't talk much, but Jake could probably tell you from PRX, and Rory can tell you, like, when I get going, like, I just don't stop. But it is what it is. It must just be a little tick that some of us have. But
last when
Yeah.
the PRX thing was happening, like, I was calling Austin and the guys from PRX, and they sort of saying, they're like, yes, how'd you get involved with Britain and everything? I'm just like, yeah, told the whole story, and he's like, and that guy's impressive. Like he pointed that, oh, I could fix that, I could do that, you should do it that way. I never even looked at it that way. So you're impressed with those guys, and those guys are a Shark Tank company. So
they're good guys.
yeah, they are.
Cool. Well, you guys, or Rory, you mentioned like Coop mentioning your product, and something I have here is, or both of you have actually had products where Coop mentions it on their reviews. I'd be curious to hear like what kind of attention does that bring your product?
You want to go? You were
Yeah, I'll hit on it. I mean, I didn't reach out to him. I guess one of his people reached out to me and just sent me an email through the website and asked if I could send him one to review. And then lo and behold, like a month or two later, bam, there goes the YouTube video. Never heard anything in between that time span. Then boom, there's the YouTube video. And it brought in a little bit of business. I'm not a social media guru, so I'm not good at like snipping and cutting and reposting and all of that stuff and kind of capitalizing on it. So probably could have brought in more, but I just didn't repost it. But again, I'll get emails and it's like, hey, I saw it on Coop thing, and I'm interested in it and so on. So yeah, I mean, once you put it on YouTube, it lives there, essentially forever. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and in my case, same thing. So I've always, of course, if you have a product idea, and especially you make a product, you'd be lying. You say you don't want Coop to review it. So like the fact that he reached out to me, of course I wanted to do it, but I didn't reach out to anyone. And I got a DM one day from Garage Reviews, said, hey, we've seen your handles, you'd like check it out. I'm like, okay, like yeah, of course. So sent it pretty much immediately once I got the parts. I was still in lieu of ordering parts, and sent him a package, and got a DM a couple weeks later, his personal page, and it was just like a video of him being like, dude, you did it. You did it. These are freaking sweet. I was in Walmart shopping for diapers, and I was walking around Walmart like this, like just like rosy cheeks, like smile. People probably think I'm high on drugs or something. Like, what is this guy smiling about? But like that made my day. And then even after that though, this was probably a few weeks after I sent it back. The PRX video was the first time they mentioned the handles. So that PRX review. And the funny thing about the review is it's a very long review. It's probably a 27-minute long review. And the megalith handles weren't mentioned until about 22 or 23 minutes in, I believe. And the amount of traffic I got to the site and the amount of orders I got was, I mean, doing 1 or 2 or 3 a week. It went triple that probably. It was like 4 or 5 a day for like a solid week or two. So that boosted it quite a bit. Got a bunch of new followers, eyeballs to the Instagram page and website and stuff like that. And then this kept happening, by the grace of God, he just kept talking about him, and he's still to this day has not done an actual review of the megalith handles. It's just been mentioned in videos. So thankfully, everyone's, knows that lever arms are cool again. So everyone's putting out their lever arms. You got Griffin, you got Crandall, all the lever arm companies. And in every one of those videos, Coop's literally said, yeah, take this handle, throw it away, put it up on your rack, do some pull-ups with it, but just replace them and get the negative with handles. And that's just that little tidbit of like 30-second little plug has done wonders for the business. So yeah, very grateful for Coop and the team at Garage and Reviews for all the kind words.
Yeah, and well, I get asked for recommendations on like, hey, which one do you want to buy? And I say, since I don't build the whole thing, cheapest one you can find, whether it's used or whatever, scratch and dent, it doesn't matter as long as you got the arm, then the adapter, and then preferably it's like the if you take the Titan handles because they're bolt on, the Titan handles are bolt on and the weight peg is bolt on, and you can take the handles and the hand grip pull-up bar. So you got neutral, like straight grip, and then like a 45-degree grip for a pull-up bar. So it's multi-grip. Now you just repurpose that. So you didn't lose any money, and now you got 2 weight pegs that you can do whatever you want to with, and go from there. So you're not really losing much at all. But yeah, that's just what I recommend. But Coop, like, I guess when he reviewed my thing was like he did the Kaizen and then mine together, which was great. But I didn't see too much, but he still gave it a good review. So definitely fortunate for that.
Yeah, I think
what about? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think the biggest thing. So up until he did his best of 2024 video, I think that was probably the best video for him because the Halo Arm one was that big because again, we all know people's spans are pretty low. Even if you do like the equipment, you're not going to watch 22 minutes of a lever arm video if you're not going to buy the lever arms, most likely. But when he did that 2024 best equipment review, I was number 4 in the most innovative handle option. So that was like 3 minutes into the video. And that one was a video that really spiked everything. Because I was like, if you make a best of list from Coop, it's going to see a lot. So
Nice.
Yeah.
But what about have you guys, you mentioned the community. What about like getting your products into the wild? Have you like gained ideas based off of people buying them and then using them?
Yeah, I have. Just the other day, I sent to go to Britain. Some guy came to me. He was working on a hamstring curl idea, and he said, "Hey, this would be really." The articulating handle is pretty common for most leg extension leg curl machines. So you find it at a gym, you'll notice that like otherwise it just stays on your, like if you're doing a leg extension, for instance, that's your ankle, it stays right at your ankle. As you kick out, the pad usually goes further toward your foot. But if they articulate, it sits more comfortably. So a customer came to me and said, "Hey, I think it'd be cool to add a pad or something." So I'm constantly thinking of new ways from the community. Coming to me with ideas and saying like, "Hey, this can probably be for that too." So I'm looking into. I haven't done anything more than just send a video to Brian about it, but maybe like some kind of pad was over the handle that could just quickly attach because there is another hole on the end of the handle, so you could probably easily just attach like a little foam roller thing on the end and maybe use it for leg extensions or something. So there's a bunch of different possibilities. And another customer actually did spark an idea that Brendan and I are working on. It's I'll just say it here because I've teased it a bunch, but it's going to be a lateral rig, pec deck kind of reverse slide machine, not machine, but attachment rather. Because a lot of the ones that are on the market right now are just super bulky and heavy, and no one wants to move them. I've seen a lot, like the one from Bolt Fitness is really cool, but it's massive. It takes up an entire upright. You're not going to take it off your rack. And as someone that has been in a 200 square foot garage gym, I know how much space is involved and how much it's needed. So I'm not going to take it off my rack. So that's in the works. Hoping to have that by Home Gym Con 2025. Hopefully, maybe a prototype. I'm not sure if it's going to be launched. That's not a promise, but I've teased it enough and people have seen it. But that came directly from the home gym market. And I think on my Instagram, I tagged the guy that gave me the idea. I forget your name, buddy. I'm sorry. But it was great. He just had a DIY version and it worked insanely well. It was actually with spotter safeties. And you basically put spotter safeties in your rack across drop-in safety. And then you put the handles at the bottom and it worked beautifully. So I'm going to make that a problem. What about you, Brent?
I don't have any that come to mind right now.
He's like, I've already thought of all of them.
No, I mean, there's some brilliant people out there that are coming up with DIYs and stuff like that and new stuff every day. I mean, this garage gym experiment is an oyster. So there's plenty of room for improvement and everything, and multi-purpose is the name of the game because we're all limited on space and we want the most functionality that we can get. So.
Yeah, I actually just recently used the Megalith handles for pull-ups. I made a reel on my Instagram, and I never even thought about doing it because I figured that the gym would be really uncomfortable. It actually makes it way more comfortable because after you pull-ups, if you're on a fixed bar path, your elbows have to go in that line. Whereas with the Megalith handles, in the video I posted on the reel, if you guys want to check that out, you can. But it basically, when you pull up, as the handles articulate, it goes out a little bit. It's a lot more, so you're able to pull, and your handles move just a little more natural rather than fixed in this one really kind of unnatural plane. So just tinkering with little things that I never use. I've owned a pair of Megalith handles for almost 2 years now, and I've never thought of using it for pull-ups. And I did it the other day, and it was great.
I'll have to try that. I mean, I can't really think of any product that I've been inspired by based on ideas that I've seen, but definitely exercise variations like Dylan Johnson, DKJ to it, and his use of connecting it to the Rory, using cable stacks, and then also other people. Is it Joe List?
Joe Gold?
Yeah. He does similar stuff that Dylan Johnson does of connecting spotter arms to it to change your strength curve and stuff like that. And then Rory has taken stuff like that too. So it's just really cool to see what people have came up with on their own to even make them more, I guess, useful. Because I mean, I just kind of came up with a basic of just like flat press, incline press, like decline press, rows, and then people are smart enough that they can figure out the rest.
I've never heard anyone else say Aries.
Aries? I don't know.
I always say Aries.
There's a restaurant down the road that's named Aries. It's probably where my brain's going to right now.
You were saying that at the PRX thing, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just let it slide.
Yeah.
And then I also didn't know it was Rorman strength.
Yeah.
Everyone says Rorman.
Everyone says Rorman. I mean, it's the same. So yeah, Rorman is just, my mom and grandpa called me that growing up. And when I figured out that I had a product that I sound like I need a company name, like what am I going to do? And it's kind of like band name. I've been in a bunch of bands. I've been playing guitar since I was 20. Well, for about 22 years. I was about 10. And like when you join a band, you're like thinking of a band name. It's kind of one of those things. You just kind of like gotta choose a name and stick with it and see what happens. So that's what it was. I was like Rorman strength. I mean, that's what my grandpa called me growing up. That's what my mom still calls me. So that's what it is. Nothing more to it.
Now we know.
Yeah, that is.
And you're right, Jake. It is Aries. I just checked the pronunciation. I looked it up on the Google.
There was no question. He was right.
Whoops. Sorry. Oh well.
And like both of you have mentioned, you're like basically just trying to replace a single income. But I'd love to hear like what's next, and maybe like where do you see each of yourselves in like 5 to 10 years? And like, are you still going to be doing this?
I'd like to be. I mean, I'd like to be able to make this my full-time gig and do this all day, every day. Is what I'd love to do. I mean, maybe that entails bringing on a few extra people for help, which is another whole hurdle of itself as far as just entering in different personalities and navigating that management, and also the accounting that comes along with it, HR stuff, legalities and insurance and stuff like that. So it just opens up a whole other can of worms. But I mean, I definitely wouldn't mind to do it. But for now, I mean, I kind of like doing just me as long as I can sustain it, because I can work pretty fast as far as designing new stuff, but not necessarily building stuff and shipping stuff. So that is the hurdle. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to keep doing it for as long as I possibly can, because I mean, it seems like every week or every month I'm finding something that can be made or improved upon. So kind of never ending. Me and Rory have just joked like, hey man, why did we not just team up together and do it from the beginning? Because like I got the design expertise or the skills and whatnot, but I'm not a social media person, and then he's the social media person over here, the singer and all of that stuff. So he's really good at that. We would balance out each other's strengths and weaknesses. But who knows? I mean, we'll see. For now, it's just it's a fun thing to do. it's
I
sad
put
'cause
it.
it,
I
go ahead,
I have to
Rory.
try. I have to try pretty hard to be active. I hate social media. Like I don't like the idea of it. I don't know. I don't like it, but I try. I know. To me, the home gym community is the only community I care about because that's who has gotten me to the point where I have, 200 plus orders or whatever I'm at right now. And that's who I never paid a dime advertising. It's just been word of mouth. Like people like Coach Carp, Kurt Locker, all the guys in the space, like even the people that don't have YouTube review channels, just sharing the stuff and telling people about it in the Facebook forums and all that stuff. It's an amazing community. That's what Home Gym Con, and bringing it back to that, it kind of really represents. It really represents the community, which is so cool. But of course, I would love to scale this to something bigger. I would love, like Brett, if I could leave the army and do this full time, that'd be awesome. But who knows? I mean, I don't necessarily have a 5-year plan. I wouldn't say I'm going to stay in the army as long as I can because that's what pays the bills. But if this gets to a point where it is, impeding on my work, my job's pretty easy, honestly, my office job. But I am an emergency response unit, so like all of October we're on what they call Gold Cycle. So basically, in our FEMA region, we're the first to be called out if something happens. So in the month of October, I've already been called out 3 or 4 times to East Tennessee to do like help with the hurricane rescues and stuff like that, and sampling the soil and water and stuff. My team has done a bunch of stuff like that. So we do a lot of traveling, which kind of gets in the way, but it's also been kind of cool because I've met a couple customers traveling. I met a customer in what was it called? It was in Wyoming, but I met a customer there and went to his home gym and toured the home gym, and it was awesome. But yeah, I plan. Sorry, there's a long-winded answer, but yeah, I would definitely love to scale it bigger. But I think the main goal and the main reason I started it was to my wife's income. If I could do
Yeah,
more than
well,
that, just on top.
yeah. For me too, it satisfies me because in my current job, it's like I don't do any more design work. I don't do any more 3D modeling or designing or manufacturing. It's like I just do basically process engineering and maintenance engineering. So to me, like I enjoy 3D design and all of that stuff, product design and that a lot more. But things aren't getting any cheaper, unfortunately. So it's a lot harder. Wallets are getting tighter. I know mine for sure is. It seems like the bank account just gets drained faster and faster every month. So replacing my income will be a decent hurdle, but I'd love to do it. But it's funny that Rory said that he travels and meets customers and gives them like their orders stuff. I've met I've met 4 people local that I just saw their order come in and I was like, hey man, I was like, you live like 20 minutes away from me. I was like, I'll just meet you or I'll drop it off on your porch. The funniest thing is one of those customers, I saw it and he lived like 10 minutes away. So I looked him up on Facebook actually, and it said that he worked at the same place that I work. And I was like, what? So then I shot him a message and I was like, hey man, I was like, we work at the same place. I was like, where's your desk? And he was like, oh, I'm on the second floor. And I was like, dude, I'm on the third floor. I was like, I've been there for 2 years now and I've never seen you. So that was cool. He moved from that house that was 10 minutes away, and now he lives 2 minutes away in my neighborhood, and he has the nicest garage gym in the neighborhood.
That's great.
When he rolls up the garage door, it's just tall mats and squat rack, leg extension, lat pull down. I think leg press too. Like he's got a bunch of dedicated machines, and he's kind of a strong man like Rory too. But yeah, me and him have gained a good friendship out of it too. So it's really cool, just stuff like that. Dude was driving up through Florida to meet some of his family that lives in Knoxville, Tennessee, about an hour and a half the other way of Rory and I. But he was just passing through, and I was like, "Hey man, meet me here at this time," and I was like, "And I'll drop it off." And we stood there in the parking lot and talked for like an hour. So it's just cool. I love that aspect of it. It's really neat.
I thought of the play. Ask the thing. I want to shout out to Ned. Ned watches this stuff. That's how I found out about. He watches all the home gym stuff. He's coming to Home Gym Con 2025. So Ned, if you're watching this, thank you for letting me come and tour your gym in Wyoming. That was awesome.
I remember when you shared that.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody comes and buys something from my home gym, they're like, And then we talk for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
So it's usually hard to get them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty funny how that
Well,
works.
what was it? I went and bought a squat rack, a rogue squat rack, like the welded one, the one that's like a welded side pieces. It doesn't bolt together; it's welded. I made that mistake. I thought it was a bolt together, but whenever I showed up, I was like, "Well, I'm already too far into this, and I drove an hour and a half for it, so I'm fine anyway." But it was up in Rory's neck of the woods. But on the way back, I didn't know Rory at that time, but I knew Matt Pendergraft. I was like, "Hey man," I was like, I think I'm pretty close to you. It's like a 30-minute detour." So swung by there and like I stood in Matt Pendergraft's garage for probably 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, and just talked. And I know he was ready to kick me out. So I'm sorry for that. my my wife was pregnant at the time too, so she was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm on my way back." I was like, "I promise." And I already DoorDashed you some Italian food, so I'm feeding you. But yeah, I mean that's the most fun thing. It's just meeting people and we literally just geek out. Literally geek out.
That's great.
Do you have an update for the PRX stuff? I wasn't sure if you could say anything.
Brendan, what are you drinking out of?
Rory knows. So this is one of the things I've been working on. It is a fully stainless CNC machine from a log of whoops a daisy. Hopefully that didn't from my laptop. But it's fully CNC machine from a log of stainless steel. It's got aggressive barbell knurling around it. Make sure to get that knurling perfected, and then it's got your 5 millimeter finger groove for the weightlifting standard on power bar. But yeah, so that weighs 3 pounds. Thank you, Rory. Then I got a 2 pound whiskey glass, like old fashioned glass. So that one's 2 pounds. And then I've got a 1 pound shot glass as well. So
See, those aren't over the top heavy.
Exactly. That's the point. You can actually use it.
Yeah, you
Use
can
it.
actually use it and enjoy it, and like you don't pick it up and it breaks your wrist. You pick it up and it's just enough to be like, oh, this is pretty. Yeah. So
Got it.
That was one of the things I talked to Brendan, like I told you earlier. I'd say, Brendan, yeah, we need to do this or whatever. Cool idea. He'd be like, oh yeah, that was one of them. Like, dude, these heavy mugs are so popular right now. They're cool, but I'm not spending $300 on a mug that I'm not going to use. It's not going to happen. So I'm like, why don't we make a stainless steel mug that's actually usable? He's like, yeah, I'm already working on one. I'm like, there you go. So that's what that is. 'Cause I want to actually be able to drink out of it rather than get a couple beers in. A 20-pound mug's going to be pretty heavy. You're going to chip some teeth.
yeah. Here, give me a second, Rory. You can keep talking, but
yeah. So what was the question?
I'm gonna ask Britton about PRX.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll touch on my PRX thing. So
Yeah,
for
go
those
ahead.
of you that don't know, PRX now offers the megalith handles. It's not exclusive or anything, but you can still buy them on my website. But if you order a pair of Halo arms, the megalith handles are an option with the Halo arms.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They only
When did that happen?
A few weeks ago. So I didn't really publicly put anything out. They put a little thing on there, but they didn't make like a big deal about it. But it is an option. If you go to the website, there's 3 different handle options. There's like a straight option, then the standard, U shape with the 45 degree, and then there's some megalith handle. So
Oh, nice.
Got my first.
Do you know if any have sold yet?
A couple have, yeah. My first check that will be framed because that's still amazing to me. It's just a wholesale deal, so they're not like licensed or anything.
Okay, got it.
They bought 10 just to try it out, yeah. Justin reached out to me like the first day, and he's like, "Hey, sold one." I'm like, "Sweet, it's awesome." So I think they're selling pretty well. And actually, the guy Ned, from Wyoming, he actually ordered my titles because of that lever arm deal that Coop put out, and that was before the deal happened. So he has a pair of handles and Halo arms as well. But yeah, that is the thing.
So it's an add-on.
An add-on feature. Yeah.
All
If you go to the Halo arms page, it's like there's 3 different handle options. Megalith handles are one of them.
I'll have to promote that.
Yeah.
Sorry. While Rory was talking, I was chugging my coffee
see it.
because I drank.
So you don't spill it.
Do it.
So you don't spill it again.
Yeah, so I don't spill it on my laptop again. That's got all of my files on it.
Yeah.
Well, while he was talking, I was chugging my coffee because I drink a third amount of caffeine in coffee these days because of the kiddos. But
Dude,
so
it's
uh,
9:30.
it's 16 ounces is the 3 pound one. But the cool thing is that it also doubles as a stainless steel koozie if I can squeeze it in there.
Nice.
There's
When are
your
those going to be available?
there's your stainless steel koozie. But
When are those going to be available?
me and my wife just finished packing them all last night, so try to do them here soon. But
Nice.
now that I just thought about this, we forgot to include one of the parts, so now we got to unpack all 50 of those. So we'll have another date night in front of the TV in the living room, unpacking and repacking everything.
Oh,
Oh well, it is what it is.
oh well. So what's up
Yeah,
with PRX?
Say what, Jay?
What's up with PRX?
Yeah, I mean, you were up there with us. I mean, developed a great relationship with all those guys. Super cool dudes. Still talk to them all pretty frequently. The two owners, and then the president, and then also one of their engineers. So, working on several projects with them, and they're all in the pipeline. So, basically, I just wanted to. I've got more ideas than I have manufacturing power. So it's like, hey, these big ideas that I have that I know I can never feasibly produce. I present them to them, and if they think that it can fit their product line, and benefit them and us and me, then we explore it and we talk from there. But we've had a couple design meetings and stuff like that. So looking forward to it. I'd love to go up there and hang out with them all again and just continue to build that relationship. But again, I mean, they're a solid American company. Rory could probably reiterate that. They're just trying to do the right things, and they're not a big place. They're just they've got their warehouse up there and their employees, and they're all just chugging away trying to do the best they can. But
Any specifics?
Yeah, I mean, Mag 10, I'll throw you that one, and then some lever arm stuff as well, to further expand on the Halo. But
Gotcha. So, I mean, last I heard, I actually hadn't heard anything since when I was up there with you. So it's good to hear that you're still working with them and
Mhm.
things are plugging along.
Yep, no, it's good. So
Cool. And then what about getting your orders back up on your website? Is that going to happen
yeah,
anytime soon?
yeah, I'm getting a lot of emails about that. About, hey man, they like you haven't had anything open for since like probably June or July. But yeah, I'm gonna run another batch before the holidays. Of the full trolleys. The bolt-ons are always open because they're a lot not easier, but a lot simpler for me to manufacture. They've got a third of the parts of the full trolleys. The full trolleys have 120 different parts, and it takes me 2 months to build those. And then, but yeah, so I'll run another batch of those before the new year. And then we'll see where I go from there. I'll keep doing those, and then I'm working on some different manufacturing, basically methods or partnerships, so that way I can fulfill orders faster and better. So, and also alleviate a little bit of that off of my back. So,
Got it. And Rory, any second products coming out anytime soon, or fully
Yeah.
focused on the...
So as of the 31st of Halloween, I'll be launching a stainless steel version of the Halo. So it's not a different product, but it's completely stainless steel all the way down to the bolt, the nut, the washers, everything's stainless steel. Just because people seem to like stainless, kind of a cool little thing. So that'd be a limited run, about 20 units per size. So I got 1 inch, 5/8 available. And I do have those in stock, so there's not going to be like some kind of crazy lead time. I actually do have inventory of those, so if you order those, you'll get them a week or two later, and they'll be launching on Halloween. And then, other than that, Britton and I are working on a lateral raise attachment that's going to be a little bit different than the ones that are on the market, because that's kind of been a hot topic attachment as of late, but it's going to be a little bit different. So
It
hopefully
really
by
has.
hopefully by Home Gym Con 2025, I'll have some kind of thing for people to try.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have all 15 or so of mine ready for Home Gym Con. I'll probably have them done, at least most of them before that.
Oh, and a neutral grip option. So that's something that we're working on as well. I've already teased that a couple of times, but there'll be a neutral grip that will definitely be there by Home Gym Con 2025. So just going to be able to switch out that handle relatively quickly and use a neutral grip option with potentially the ability to go from neutral grip to 45. That way you kind of get all the utility of the handle, have the big U shape, but not the bulkiness, and you also get the articulation of the megalith handle.
Cool.
That's coming soon.
And then before we go, someone had a question for you, Rory. So, what events for the throwdown are you focusing on to secure a stronger second place?
That sounds like a Derek question. All right, Derek. Well, all of them. Let's say that it's going to be a definitive win. Definitive win. Cody's a great competitor. Cody's a great guy, but I think I touched 3 out of the 5 events, maybe for about 3 months before that competition, and I still secured second. So, just say a year of training with actual implements can be lights out.
Rory's an
Well,
animal.
see.
Don't underestimate him. I mean,
I know.
like, I'd never met him until he came in town. Whenever I met him, I was like, dude, this dude's pretty stacked.
Rory, how did you get so strong? Like, what is your training background? And you mentioned you started during the Army, but
Yeah, I started really late. I didn't start till about 20, really. I was a skinny kid all throughout high school. I was kind of a chunky kid, middle school, leaned out as I grew a little taller, and was skinny my last year of school, doing the Army straight out of high school. I was 19 when I think I signed up, and when I went to Afghanistan was when I really got into it. But I started working out at 20, and I just been really consistent. That's really the thing. I don't think I've missed more than 5 days in the past 12 or 13 years. And I just like it. It's usually 7 days a week. No, there's like recovery time. So like I went to school for physical therapy as well. So I understand recovery time, and you should not work out 7 days a week. But when I say 7 days, like I'll go in the gym and do biceps and calves or something like that. Just get my heart rate up. So it's not like a full 7 day a week full on training thing. But for the past year, I've been focused on strongman because I kind of got bored with powerlifting. But I did powerlifting for about 4 or 5 years, training that style, and my best total was 1,700. So did pulled 7 in competition. I hadn't hit 400 in competition, but I've done 415 on bench. My best competition bench was 385, I think. And my squat's always been kind of garbage, as John from Garage Gym Life likes to call out on his live show. My best squat is 575. So, compared to my deadlift, this far. But yeah, so I trained powerlifting for quite a while, and I just think the 3 lifts just got bored for a while. I wanted something a little different. And I had trained some strongman things here and there, just like if a gym had a yoke or I elevated deadlift, and I really like the training. I'm able to get out, play with my daughters, and have the dog run around the yard, and it's a lot more fun. So I think I'm stuck in the strongman game from now on. And
for
they
a
don't
while, at least you
Good.
think.
for a while at least. Because
I
strongmen
think
don't squat, so
I think the most funny and unique about Rory is that no matter what he's doing, if he's powerlifting, if he's deadlifting 700 pounds, if he's benching 400 and some pounds, doesn't matter what he's doing. If he's running from an alligator, he's wearing flip flops. He probably hunts in flip flops.
I've noticed that.
Doesn't matter.
I would have wanted to start told.
Should have been flip flop strength.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, I
Are
did
you
the flop.
Are you gonna
the
do
long
the
one.
home gym? Are you gonna do the home gym con powerlifting meeting flip flop?
No, the strongman maybe a couple if they let me.
Oh man. Yeah.
We'll see if.
Yeah, well, all right, guys. Well, anything else?
Thanks for having me.
Good
Really
chat.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll message in between, but at least I'll see you guys in about 8 months at Home Gym Con in person.
yeah. Wait.
Yep.
Oh, and then
happy
on
to be
it.
here. Happy to be part of this community, and the fact that God allows me and Rory to continue to do it. So Like I said, I'll be here
Absolutely.
as long as I can be, and as long as the community allows me to be, and as long as God allows me to be too. So
Completely agree. I second that. Yeah, so also thank you to you, Jake, for what you do with the community. It's been amazing. Feel like when I lost Rorman's strength, I didn't really know. Again, I've only been a home gym owner for about 3 years or so. So it's in the grand scheme of things, it's not very long since COVID. But the community's been so welcoming and so amazing, and you are a huge aspect of that. Like, you can't think of home gyms or garage gyms without experiment. So thank you for what you do and allowing me to be on your. It means the world to me. So thank you
got
very
it. Thank you. Thank you.
yep,
Yeah.
thanks, man. I wanted to circle back on the Coop thing about him reviewing. Like us, for me, it was surreal because like during COVID and during the lockdown, like everybody remembers the lockdown, like, oh, stay inside. Like I didn't have kids at the time. I'd wake up and I would watch garage gym reviews on YouTube. I was like, man, that'd be the coolest thing to just like have a product and get it on there. And then, no joke, like 2 or 3 years later, it happened, and it's just that kind of I guess thing of just like willful putting things out into the world and seeing what happens type deal. So that, I mean, it was a surreal moment for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what was kind of coming to my mind when Rory was saying like everyone was so welcoming, and part of it is just because you're like doing something,
Mhm.
It's just like people react to people doing cool stuff and treating them nicely as well. So yeah, I think if you're just doing something for this community or within this community, people appreciate it. They're eager for that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, me and him are not in it to make $1 million or become millionaires or anything like that. Like, yeah, we have to make money off of the things that we produce, but believe me, our margins are not, not that great. Like, it's tough. It's really tough. And if you have one bad batch of parts that come in, then it can easily wreck you. Like Rory, we had a bad batch of his laser cut parts come in, and I was like, hey man, I was like, yeah, these are not that impressive, and he had to spend a lot of a lot of work and just grinding them out pretty much, but he got them fixed. So
Literally grinding them out. I went and bought a Dremel and grinding out the holes, and yeah,
yeah,
literally.
I mean the problem is like whenever you laser cut thick steel, um, and if you laser cut a small hole into that thick steel, then you can get molten metal inside of that small hole that cools, and then it's just solid like inside of there. So it happens. It's just a hurdle that has to become overcome. Just one of the small things that some people may not realize on the other side of the fence, um, that can totally derail an entire batch or delay an entire batch. So,
Yep. Learned a lot for the year, that's for sure.
yep. But cool, crazy to be here for sure.
yeah. Well,
But
thanks guys. Thanks for being here, and thanks for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.